Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today we're going to have a match between Wraith and Strelok here on Outsider. This game is from 2009. It was uploaded to bwreplays.com on the 31st of October. So this is basically a 9-year-old game. And I checked. The AI doesn't go nuts. And it completes. So top right-hand corner of Outsider is the Purple Terran player Strelok, and in the bottom left-hand corner of the map it is the Peach-ish Zerg player Wraith. I have not had a Wraith game, I think, on the channel yet. I was going through lists of old players that I have heard about and loved watching back in the day. Wraith was definitely one of my heroes. One of my Zerg heroes for sure. He was right up there with Idra in the Brood War days, probably better than Idra was. I bet Idra could probably come around and prove me wrong about that, but regardless. And then Strelok is just an incredibly solid foreign Terran player for sure. Very interested to see how this match is going to go between these two players, and it should be a good one here on Outsider. And again, it's an older replay. The meta is different from what you're going to see today. I'm going to try to throw the year into the thumbnails of these casts, because I don't like putting a lot of words in there. It seems like you guys respond better if it's just thumbnail screen caps of something that has gone on during the game. And that seems to just be something that you guys like to see. No one's complained about it. But at the same time, I do kind of want to let you guys know what year these things have been happening in, because that is a question that y'all have been asking in the comments more often than not. I do try to put it in the description, but anyway, Strelok here is from Ukraine, which is pretty exciting stuff. Really good history of great players from Ukraine, including White probably the best one of the bunch from that country. And I like that Brood War is such an international game. It really is. StarCraft in general is. A lot of the best players are from different places across the world. And sure, Korea kind of has a stranglehold on the best players more often than not, but still other countries can compete, can represent their own nations so very, very well. And it just kind of feels like the Olympics that way sometimes, doesn't it? Nation competing against nation, or maybe the World Cup in that aspect, which just, I love the World Cup and I like the Olympics. So that's kind of maybe what draws me to the professional scene for StarCraft Brood War. We do have a quick pool out here for Rhett. Nothing too nuts. He's got a couple lings on the way. They're going to go ahead and defend against this. Wow, that bunker rush is just not going to happen at all. Pool first absolutely shuts that down. Going to cancel it. There we go. There's the cancel, and the SCV heads home. Basically saved by the fact that there's a bunker for the Zerglings to kill. So there are a few Marines out here. They were heading down to try to set up inside that bunker, but the Zerglings were out way too soon. Rhett was prepared for it, whether he scouted it or whether he just said, you know what, I got a feeling that going hatch first here is not a good move at all. And here come the Zerglings, and here comes the SCV on the ramp. It's going to hold position and mess up the pathing of the Zerglings and make it really hard for them to get up that ramp. You'll notice they're not even really trying at all. Getting around that SCV is a pain in the butt. Just going to go ahead and make sure that the Terran player doesn't move out at this stage, and then if he does, there will be some Zerglings to contend with. SCV scouting in, seeing the gas being taken at the main base, seeing the natural has already popped here. Both players just kind of doing their thing at the stage of the game. Are we? No, we're good. That's the right game speed. I wish it would show us, but anyway, Marines pushing out here. Now there's a good enough number of them that can actually get these Zerglings out and away. Sunken Colony, well, Creep Colony, into Sunken Colony here at the front, just in case the Marines do push, just in case there are more than expected out of Strelok here. But nah, it's just the one, just a group here of 5 or so. They haven't really taken any damage. And then we have a factory in production. And what is this SCV going to do? What are you going to do here? Second factory maybe would be interesting. Second barracks would be pretty good too. He has enough resources to throw something down, and yes, it is going to be a starport. A double starport opening here. 2-port. Could be Wraiths. Again, this is old enough, it really could be anything from the 2009 days of the Brood War. So interested to see what's going to happen there. Ooh, I said the Brood War. That gets comments too. Calling things the Brood War or the Wraith, it just, people go bananas for that. I don't know where I picked it up. It's a weird affectation of my speech that I like to do from time to time. And I'll try to avoid it, because I don't think anybody's been like, yeah, that's my favorite thing. Why don't you keep doing that, Falcon? So I'll try to knock it off, and when I notice it, I'll call myself out and try to do better next time. So Overlord scouting up this top left-hand side, just checking to make sure if there are any drops coming his way. And yeah, with the double starport, definitely could be some drop play in the future here. Strelok is actually not making attacking units. He is going 2-port Wraith. Well, that's a little bit interesting. Wraith attack coming in, and there's literally nothing that can shoot up right now for Rhett, so it's not a bad idea. Honestly, it's not. No creep colonies. Well, no spore colonies, rather. There are creep colonies, but they turned into sunken colonies here. This one, too, just a creep colony. There's a Hydralisk Den, though, and it is available for Hydras. Not that there are any necessarily on the field at this point, but actually, what's in these eggs? Drones. We can see the production tab. And it is what it is, what it is. So the Wraiths are moving out. They might just be Overlord hunting as well, which would not be a bad move at all, is to try to supply block Rhett at this early stage of the game. It really would mess him up. Spire on the way for the Zerg player. He's got his second extractor now getting taken as well. It wasn't early enough, I don't think, for the straight up 2-base Muta style thing, but here come the Wraiths, and in production, there is nothing here that can shoot up. 2 Hydras just got started. That Overlord gets picked off quite easily there, and here come the Wraiths just hunting, taking down drones using their stupid ground-based attack, but it's enough. If you can get enough shots off, will kill a drone. By golly, this is actually Wraith harassment out of Strelok here. Hydra pops out, and Hydras just eat Wraiths for dinner. If there's anything that can attack back against Wraiths, they will die. See, you'll notice here, a little bit low on the HP. Trying to get yet another drone. Noticing that the Hydras are slow. They don't have upgrades yet, so they can't really chase these around all that well. Could probably pop back in to natural base and get something done. These Zerglings really want to get up this ramp, but I don't know. There's Marines. Double dropship here. Some harassment on the way from Strelok. Wraiths just kind of heading out. Creep colony inside the mineral line of the main base, and might turn this one into a spore colony here too, or a spore colony, as I've been calling it from time to time. Regardless, we do have a bunch of Marines and some medics inside this dropship. Stim is just about done here. The timing is impeccable out of Strelok, as you expect it to be. Wraith hanging out. Did the other Wraith die? The other Wraith might have been caught out by those Hydras here. So here we go. Marines coming on in. This ramp. This is what Rhett was worried about. Look at him holding on the ramp here. Stimming back. There we go. That's what you got to do. Wraith picking at the Zerglings a little bit there too. Scourge in the sky. They missed it, though. The Scourge missed the drop. Oh, this is real bad. This is really bad for these dropships. Go, zoom, and they are. They're actually pretty... Oh, what a juke there, but not fast enough, I'm afraid. 2 shots, and... Okay, got a hit there, too. Dropship does not die. It takes 2 Wraith. There are 2 Scourge to kill a dropship. And it wasn't quite there yet. So yeah, we've got Mutas on the way, but like I said, the gas here for Red is not high enough to just go for 8 Mutas on the spot. He's got a lot of Zerglings on the ground. He made some Hydras. That ate into his gas income and gas bank as well. And these guys are just kind of trying to make sure that a base can't be taken here. I guess they don't really show much sign of being aggressive whatsoever. And I feel like they could be. That said, this Zergling train is looking exceptionally aggressive for Rhett. If he can get up this... Dude, he can get up this ramp. He can get up this ramp and do a lot of work. Speedlings... Oh, they are Speedlings. They have the speed upgrade. They don't have any attack upgrades, but they're going right after these barracks instead of after the SCVs, which I feel like would be a more traditional target here. But taking out a barracks, at least bringing it down to burning, seems like a pretty good thing. 2 SCVs getting on in there, pushing up the ramp now. Here is the Terran player Strelok. He could go for an attack at the same time, but he's forced to micro his units back at home to deal with these dudes, and they just flee. They flee at the sign of 4 Marines and a fire bat, which I'm not entirely convinced is the way to do this thing. Sunken calling, getting target fired down by the Marines. Muta's got to get in here too and help with that. The Sunken goes down, and now they're going for the Spire here too. I think they're going to get the Spire. What a massive hit for the Terran player right now. Boom. Sucka. Scourge hitting a couple of the dropships that were hanging out here. The Zerglings come all the way home to try to help clean this thing up. Mutalisks are dying though. Yeah, one of them goes down, but then the rest of the Terran crew gets torn apart by Zerglings. And some of the Mutas do end up escaping there. I guess those might have just hatched. Anyway. Alright, so we're still sitting on 1 base from Strelok. He really needs to expand. We are 3 basing it as Rhett right now at the 19-minute mark, which is just a horrible position to be in if you are a Terran player. Lurker aspect being researched here by Rhett. He's replacing a couple of the barracks that died here. This one is on fire but not actively burning, so that's okay. And we do have Valkyrie. Valkyrie prepared. They are ready to absolutely wreck any of these Mutas that show up. Whoa! One of my favorite animations in the entire game. Just the blueness, the blue fuzziness. I know we've talked about this before. Oh, get a couple hits off there. Yep, there we go. Valkyrie does take some damage there. but chasing the Scourge off. They don't want to engage. The Mutas don't want to engage at all either, and I think Rhett's going to have to rethink his strategy. He was planning on going Mutalisk, but instead let's go Lurker Hydra. Let's replace the Spire, get a Spore Colony here up in the... Is he finally... Yep, finally Spore Colonying the one inside the natural base, which is hilarious. Does Strelok know about... Wow. Wait, what? Vision is messed up. It is not... I mean, it's 2008, so maybe that's what the problem is. I mean, he doesn't... Yeah, it's hard to know what he knows about, is the thing. According to the amount of the fog of war that is gone, he hasn't gone down to that third base. I'm not sure that he knows that Rhett has that yet, is the thing. So here are the Valkyries. They're prepared if Mutas decide to show up and try to deal with things. I love the Fire Bats. I love the couple medics. Got the Marines down there too. They do not have any attack, upgrades, or armor at this stage of the game, but they're going to go ahead and try to push in here anyway. Creep Colony being replaced. Lurkers ready to rock, though. Woo, 4 Lurkers is a big, big number. This bio is in trouble. Maybe getting the Extractor is enough damage. Maybe trying to take down one of the Lurkers. Nope, can't even get one of the Lurkers. They're trying to really hard and almost taking him down, but not quite able to do that yet. There's a Sunken Colony that's on the way, but it's not quite present. And the Valkyries and the Spore Colonies chasing away the... Well, the Spore Colonies chasing away the Valkyries, along with some Hydras here. Yeah, this push along the left side is very ill-fated for sure. And eventually... the medics get taken down. So natural base getting taken here. No gas at all from Strelok. What an interesting game. Again, almost a decade old. I'm sure there's somebody watching here who wasn't even alive in October of 2009. It's just like, wait, what? StarCraft was that? Yes, it was. It was. So the Valkyrie just going around Overlord hunting, which is pretty fantastic. It does take a while for a Hydralisk to kill a Valkyrie because they have that 1 armor. 2 armor, I forgot. 2 armor, making him very, very tanky here. Lurker trying to get up this ramp. Nope, there are bunkers available. Lurker's not that great against buildings, and they are good against bio. They're good against bio that's outside of the bunkers, but when they're inside, it's a horrible, horrible thing for Lurkers to try to deal with. Dropping here at this third base that I don't think he knew existed. He might have scanned it recently here, but go ahead and try to take care of that Sunken Colony. Scourge flying in. Goodbye, dropship. Goodbye, everybody else. There are enough Mutas and Zerglings here to make that thing happen. That said, Muta's getting target fired pretty well. And then the Valkyrie come in, and the Mutas stupidly fly to their deaths. Wow. I guess one of the Valkyries did die, but it was exchanged for all of the Mutas. Now, the question is Rhett going to keep going with Muta? Not really, just making Scourge, Hydralisks. We do have Science Vessels on the way from Strelok, which you really need in this matchup, even back in 2009. Bit of a Lurker counterattack, pushing up the ramp. I don't know what makes him think he can do this, because the bunker still exists. Does this tank have siege? I mean, he'd be in siege if he had siege, right? Production tab doesn't say... There it is, siege mode. Siege mode on the way here. So 13-minute mark, don't have siege quite yet. Again, very different game. Exceptionally different game here than what we are seeing today. There's no way a Terran would not have an expansion until as late as this one came down. No way he would skip siege under any circumstances whatsoever. I love to see the evolution of games. And really, I was going to say no 4th base from Rhett either, but there's a 4th base coming up. Kind of a ninja expand. It's a bit further away than I think other possible expansions could be, but this is an island? No, there's just a backdoor down into it. So, alright, fair enough. You take this one, then you follow the ramp down, you can take this base as well, although you'd have to lift to get in there. So it is effectively an island, is what it is. 2 Vespene Geysers. Dang, that's an interesting place to take a base. Kind of like it. Really do kind of enjoy it there. So Marine count getting kind of insane for Strelok here. He still does not have any upgrades on his dudes. Does he have an engineering bay? No, he's going absolutely upgradeless here. Did people not understand the importance of upgrades in 2009? Is that what that is? Oh, accidentally killed his own Lurker there a little bit. Target firing going awry. But yeah, I can't believe the lack of upgrades here. Do the Lurkers have upgrades? They got Carapace, and +1 missile attack is done too, so that's good. Rhett recognizes what's going on. Burrowing on in, and whoa, one of the tanks gets picked off. Hydra is just marching right on in here. Did they irradiate? I think they irradiated a couple of the Lurkers. Heard the sound, didn't see the animation, which just tells me something below the ground. There we go. That one is also irradiated and should explode within the ground as well. Hydra's trying to I mean, usually if you're baiting, you actually push people back into what you're baiting them into, but nope. Not those guys there. Lurkers burrowing on back in production. 6 more Hydralisks working on missile attacks and ventral sacks transporting for those overlords, turning them into the drop lords here. We've got some Scourge trying to make sure that dropships have a hard time doing anything on the map at all. Zerg is everywhere right now. You can see the peach. See the peach happening. Yeah, tanks just straight up. Oh, yeah, good way to get out of there. Way to get those lurkers out as the tanks continue to push on up here. Overlord getting chased down by Marines. Can't chase too far because, again, there are lurkers present. 4 of them, which is a really big number, especially if your Marines are 0-0. No, still no upgrades. Still no upgrades at all from this dude. Very weird indeed. +1/+1, as I mentioned previously, done for the Hydralisks. Oh, here we go. Here go the drops. We've got the Overlords. We've got the Hydralisks in there. Gonna try to drop at this 3rd base, and there's nothing to defend at all for Strelok. Oh boy. Oh boy. So where are the lurkers? There's still 2 lurkers here. The Hydralisk drop at the 3rd base is a resounding success. Yep, and the SCVs are all forced to retreat there, pushing in with a pretty intimidating Terran army. Couple tanks, got Marines, got medics too. Hydralisks actually not super intense at attacking into the main base here. Killing the 3rd seems to be enough, and I think I agree with him. Killing the 3rd base is going to slow down Strelok enough that it's not going to be a big deal. Tanks setting up in siege mode and running into this a little bit are some Zerglings. And nope, not going to happen. Marine support, making sure the tanks don't die there. Sunken Colony under assault there too. This is a pretty intimidating attack out of the Terran player. No attack upgrades at all for the Terran. Not even vehicle attack upgrades here. Pushing in, setting up, sieging up, using the Marines as defense, going after sunken colonies. You could probably actually hit these lurkers too. Yeah, lurkers might take some splash damage. Hydralisk Den under direct assault, but here comes the flank attack from Red. He's coming on from the right side and from the left side too, going for that beautiful surround. Lurkers on the bottom side, Hydras on the right, Hydras on the left, and boom, it is a death zone for the Terran army, and they're absolutely getting crushed. The last medic is removed. Science vessels fleeing the scene of the crime. We weren't involved in that at all. Definitely not. Nope. Scourge getting picked off by Valkyrie there and doesn't detonate on the science vessel. That's a fantastic... Oh, well, those ones did. That happened. Jinxed it a little bit here. Natural base running here quite nicely for Strelok, but still, we are sitting on a 4-basing Zerg to a 2-basing Terran player. He's making Marines, he's making tanks, he's getting Comsat station here at his natural base, and additional barracks here too. Both players spending their money pretty darn effectively well. And +2 missile attack has now been done for the Hydralisks, working on Evolved Carapace, which increases the armor on pretty much everything on the ground for the Zerg. Literally, the larva they do benefit from that. So yeah, anything on the ground for the Zerg benefits from that upgrade quite nicely. So here we go. Setting up. It's 111 to 78 total supply. Rhett has a very, very nice lead. These tanks should just be in siege position if they're hanging out. If they're defending, then siege is really what you want. Spreading. Got some supply depots coming on up here. This armory exists, but not for upgrades, I can tell you that much. Additional science vessels on the way here. Bit of a drop here at this 4th base of Rhett, but Hydra's coming in to try to deal with this thing. And again, the upgrades are of the utmost importance in this battle, as it gets cleaned out quite nicely. 2 medics healing each other are a little bit tanky, but not quite tanky enough. 127 to 80 supply. Sunken Colony died, but the rest of the base is very happy for Rhett. And here he's just going Ling, Hydralisk, no Defilers, no late game. He's just now getting a hive at the 19-minute mark. He's got a macro hatch here inside his main base. Got Overlord. Is this Lurker drop? This is Lurker drop at the natural base. Oh, that's so brutal. So brutal. One on the high ground, one on the low ground. Oop, taking some tank splash there and irradiating the 2nd Lurker. And the Drop Lord gets killed as well. So pretty well defended there by Strelok, if I do say so myself. Production tab for Red is all of the things Strelok is working on. A tank right now. And here we go. He's pushing on in. He's trying to get rid of any air units with the Valkyries. Couple lurkers getting destroyed by a lot of siege tanks right now. That is 7 siege tanks on the ground. Intimidating, but upgrades would make them more intimidating. Adrenal Glands on the way from Rat, working on melee attack for his Zerglings too, and now going for a Defiler Mound. So maybe he's waiting very patiently for that Dark Swarm ability that really makes his Zerglings that much better, makes his Hydras that much better as well. But here comes a pretty intimidating big old attack here, but look at the setup. Yeah, here we go. From all directions, here comes the swarm. And it's just not going to be enough. The Hydras are crushing through. Zerglings are on top of everything. Lurkers trying to burrow in or at least absorbing shots. And then here everything comes to a head directly on the Valkyries. They're all dead. The tanks are all dead. It's 132 to 49 supply. Rhett using his angles. Who needs Dark Swarm, he says. I don't need Dark Swarm. Strelok has a tank and a Marine back home. And that is the good game. Strelok out. And Rhett is your winner in 20 minutes and 29 seconds. Whew. What a game. What a game that was from, again, old school players in an old school era of Brood War. Not quite what you would expect to see from now, or even from 2016, 2015, a couple of years ago now. Very different game for sure, but Rhett just managing to overwhelm using angles. That final battle from the left side, bottom side, right side, just swarming everything that Strelok had, and made it happen. Good, beautiful use. You see why Rhett is one of the greatest Terran players, or Zerg players of all time. He's going for consume, not that he really ever needed it. Okay, let's check out that final score. I do like seeing what that's all about. And produced 326 units did Rhett, killed 145 of them, and lost 122 of them. So decent ratio here for Strelok. Killed 122 of Rhett's 326 units, but just not enough. In the end, he only constructed 182 himself and lost all but about 40 of those. Only 6 buildings raised by Strelok. Most of those are static defense, and then resources. Rhett is basically, yeah, like 30% up on every one of these categories versus Strelok. It's 6,000 versus 9,000, 17 to 24, and 22 to 33. Yep, that's that extra base. That extra third base early, then the fourth base that never really got taken down was a huge, huge deal. All right, so that is going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you see, like what you saw, what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.